Hello, artists. I'm excited to introduce you to Henri Rousseau, a French painter who began teaching himself at the age of 35. His lavish landscapes, created by his imagination, inspired from visits to the zoo, botanical gardens, and books that he read. In this exercise today, we are going to create our own unique landscape. Imagine. I want you to imagine. I'm going to show you some lines and shapes you can put together to make your flowers and plants for this landscape, but you will have some ideas of your own. Use a piece of paper or a whiteboard to practice these lines and shapes and make some tall grasses, some vines, flowers, and trees. Let's practice this idea together first, and then we'll use our new information to create our own exotic landscape. I'm using tall, wavy lines that I can use for grasses or leaves on my flowers. I'm using wavy lines and adding curved lines to make branches or even plants. These same ideas can be used for different things. Look at how I use the letter U to make the base of my flower. On top of that letter U, I can use angled lines or I can use curved lines to create a flower. It's fun to put different shapes and lines together and create new flowers and plants, maybe a kind we have never even seen before. Let's practice some leaf shapes. I can use two curved lines and put a line through it. I can use a circle shape or an oval shape. I can also use a heart shape, and I can make a long leaf shape with a long curved line. Great work! Now, let's practice animals. We'll start the body of a lion or tiger with an oval. I will use an L shape or angled line for the front leg and a backwards L shape or angled line for the back leg. I will copy the same line to make the thickness of the legs. On the back leg, I will draw a longer line to make the back paw, and on the front leg, I will round it out to make the paw of the lion or tiger. Since I'm using the whiteboard, it's easy for me to erase the lines so that you can clearly see the animal I am drawing. If you are using a crayon or a pencil, you might want to wait till you're all done with your drawing because the designs you add may cover up some lines and you won't have to erase them. I'm forming the head by adding different shapes together. I've started with a circle, and then I made a line for the snout, and I am using a V shape for the mouth. I am drawing the tiger in profile, and that means I'm drawing the side view. We know that this animal would have two eyes, but I'm only going to draw one. The other eye is on the other side of the head, and I cannot see it. I am using an almond shape to make the eye. And the easy way that I explain an almond shape, it's like a smile and a frown put together. I've used an angled line to create the ear, and I'm also using angled lines to create a pattern on my tiger. Did you know it is the tiger's skin that has stripes? and that no two tigers have the same pattern of stripes. It's kind of like their fingerprints. And each tiger's set of stripes are unique to them. Great job! I bet your tiger looks awesome. We're gonna practice a few more animals. Do you need another piece of paper or to take a nice breath? Do it. We're gonna practice shapes for a giraffe next. Let's start the body of the giraffe with a rectangular shape. And from the top corner, let's draw 2 lines for a long neck. It will be wider as it connects to the body and more narrow as it connects to the head shape. Let's use a triangle for the head of our giraffe, and the pointy angle will become its nose. We will come back to the head in a minute and develop the horns and ears. Let's move on to the legs. Giraffes have long legs, and we will draw a long line from the side of the body and add another line to make the front leg. As I begin the back leg, I will put a curved line for the hip and then draw 2 straight lines. I will then add the giraffe's tail and a little eye and horns and an ear. My giraffe is also in profile, so I am seeing it from the side. Have you ever looked at a giraffe's mouth? I'll be making a little line at that pointy part of the triangle to create the mouth. Like a tiger, a giraffe's spots are unique, and no 2 giraffes have the same spotted pattern. Before we move on to our next animal, I want to show you a very easy way to enhance your drawings with the power of the line. Often when drawing, we start at the bottom of the page as if this is the ground line. By raising that line up off the bottom of the page and even into the middle of your page, you will create a more interesting drawing and you'll be creating depth. Look at that, one line, and it looks like my giraffe is on the ground. And an angled line behind it makes it feel like there might be a mountain or hill behind my giraffe. That gives my drawing depth. Depth is when it looks like you could go into your picture or drawing. The ground line that we put in the middle of our drawing is the horizon line. The horizon line is where the earth and the sky meet. Now I'm going to use some of those lines and shapes we practiced earlier to make some tall grasses or plants. Is that awesome or what? Okay, let's look at the simple shapes for an elephant. We'll start with a larger oval and add 2 lines for the front leg and 2 lines for the back leg. Again, we're drawing in profile. I'll start the head with a circle shape that overlaps on the body. With a curved line from the bottom of the head shape, I'm going to make the trunk swooping up, and I will add a second line to show the thickness of that trunk. And did you see the little angled line I used for the mouth? And what kind of shape do you think an elephant ear looks like? Let's draw that. You can use a little dashed line for the eye, or make an almond shape eye again, or a little curved line. And now, with the power of one line, my elephant will be landing on the ground. Voila! Look at that. Okay, if we were in class together, we would take a break. So go stretch, play, have a great day, and come back later. Welcome back. Before we create our fantasy landscape, I want to explain a few art words to you. Background is the area that feels farthest away. Midground is in the center of our page and feels a little closer, and foreground is the closest area to us. All right, let's get started. Put in a horizon line and an angled line for a mountain. Let's look at where we can put the sun, or you could create a moon. There are many great places to put a crescent shape or a circle shape for a moon or a sun in your sky. Try different sizes. Your choice is going to create a feeling or a mood in your landscape. The placement of your sun or moon is very powerful, so don't put it up in the corner. It takes the viewer right off your page. I wonder if you're going to make a moon or a sun, and where will you place it? Even though we are doing the same thing right now, we can make different choices. We are different artists, and we will have some different ideas. Now let's build that landscape that we have practiced for. I'll draw a tree in my midground. I'll start with a long line to be my tree trunk, and I will add another line, making it wider at the base. Take a nice breath. We're going to have fun growing this tree. Let's branch out. As I create the tree, I will use the letter V and some straight and angled lines. There are all different kinds of trees, and they look differently. They are different sizes and shapes. Some of the trees in Henri Rousseau's paintings are giant houseplants. Yes, he imagined plants as giant trees. I'm adding a few branches, and I might add more, but first I'm going to create a texture in my tree by using curvy and round lines. I'm having fun putting texture in my tree. Take a nice breath. Let's add some tall grasses at the base of our tree. I'm going to use that U shape to create a flower like we practiced earlier. Remember, yours can look different than mine. I'm also going to put a flower in the foreground. Because it is closer to me, it will be bigger in shape and size. I'll start with that U shape again. Use curved or angled lines for your flower petals. And I like adding the stamen popping out of the top of my flower. Maybe a bee or butterfly will visit. And now we'll use the power of the line to create more depth. Well, we'll use 2 lines. Watch this. Start at your horizon line and bring a line to the bottom of your page. The second line is also going to start at the horizon line. As you bring that line forward, it will widen at the bottom of your page, like this. How easy and fabulous is that? Now we have a path or a river. I'm adding grass and flowers along that line. Where those grasses are in the background, they will be short and small. And as it comes closer to me in the foreground, I will make them bigger. This also creates that illusion of depth. Good job! I know your artwork looks amazing. I'm adding more dots or lines to the other side of my path or river. And I've decided to add another flower near the tree, although this flower looks like it's behind the tree. Why? Yeah, it's because the line of the flower stem ends at the tree trunk. But look at the other flower. That stem overlaps the tree trunk, and that makes it look like it's in front of the tree. Okay, time to add the animal. You get to choose which one you want to make. I'll start with an oval body. I'm going to make a lion. I will use the L shape and the backwards L shape for legs. I will add the head shape, and I am going to make a circular shape around that for the mane of my lion. Our animals are going to look different even if we are creating the same one. My lion is in the background, and so it is hard to see some of his details. And there are some tall grasses that will be overlapping the base of his feet. If a plant or tree hides some of your animal, you can't draw that part. Therefore, the tall grasses that hide my lion's feet mean that I don't have to draw his feet. When you're done drawing your animal, think about adding texture or a pattern. Now let's work on our tree. What type of leaf shapes do you want to add? You could even add flowers. I've decided to add a bird into the tree. I'll use an oval for the body of the bird, a triangular shape for the tail feather, and I'll overlap a circle for the head shape. I'll use a triangle shape for the beak, and where I place that triangle is going to make the bird look like it is facing that direction. I finally decide where I want to place my beak, and now I'll add designs to my bird. I wonder what ideas you are adding into your fantasy landscape. As I finish my imaginative idea, I will add more leaves to my tree, and I'm going to add more ground to the other side of my mountain. I'll use just one line. I am so proud of you. You have learned how to use simple shapes and lines to create depth in a landscape with an exotic animal.